Do you remember that pot melt project I did a little while ago using a stainless steel pot? And have you seen part 1 of this project where I'm turning it into a bowl? Well, this is the culmination. This is where it becomes a bowl. But the question is, how does it work out? I hope you are well. Welcome to the channel. My name is Jeff. Right, this has been a bit of a journey, hasn't it? First of all, we had one video, and that video was a pot melt, and I used a stainless steel pot. That was a bit of an experiment, but I think it all worked out well. If you haven't seen the video, I suggest you do go and watch it. I'll put a link in the description for you, and I'll put a little card up there somewhere, I think. But it's well worth going and watching. It gives you a bit of information as we lead into this project. And in this project, we're going to be using, or we are using, that pot melt as a feature in a bowl using strip construction. I've got to get all that out. Part 1 has already been, so if you haven't seen that, go and watch that as well. And this is part 2, so this is the end of the road where we're going to turn it into a bowl. Question I raised was, how well did it go? Hang around to the end and you'll find out. Also hang around to the end, I have a very important announcement to make. It's both good and bad, but don't worry, I'm still going to be making videos, so it's not closing the channel. Look, if you've enjoyed this process, if you've watched all the videos and you've enjoyed it and they've been helpful, please share them around on your social media accounts, Facebook page, whatever else you can. I'd really appreciate that. That really helps the channel. Now, we don't have to do materials and all that in this one. We've already done that and covered it in the previous video. So on this one, we just need to really get into the cold working, preparing it for a final slump and slumping it. So let's get into it. Right, well, first thing I've got to do is I've got to cut this. And to do that, obviously I have to mark it. I have to get the shape right. Now that mold I'm using is not symmetrical, as in each side is exactly the same. So I have this, excuse my voice is going away. I have this template here that I have cut out of cardboard. So I have both the piece I've cut out of the middle and the other piece. Basically you can use either of these depending upon how you want to mark it up. But I'm going to use this one today, and I'm going to place it on there, position it correctly, mark it all around and cut on the outside edge of the mark. Excuse me. But that mark will wash off. If I just do it in texture or something like that, it'll just wash off under the water from the ring saw. So I have to work out how to mark it. I've done a few different tests on this, and I've done one recently where I used a paint pen, and I put that on both a rough and a shiny surface. It just washed off the shiny surface. But on the rougher surface, which I roughed up with the diamond pad, it adhered a lot better. So what I'm going to do today is I am going to sandblast this outside edge, just a light sandblast, and then I'm going to use the paint pen to mark it with, to get my mark. And hopefully that'll see me right through the long cut, and then also some cold working on the edge when I'm finished with that. So we'll see how it goes. Now, excuse me, I'm going to position this so I've got this reasonably sort of even width of white on each side. And you may have noticed, now you can't see it, there it is. I've got a bottom here, so that gives me the orientation as far as the mould is concerned. And for this piece, I know that this one is oriented that way, or needs to be oriented that way. So I'm going to mark this, but I'm going to position this on there. I'm going to use a bit of tape, hold it down temporarily, so I can mark around it with the paint pen. Well, it took quite a while. In the video it'll be sped up, but you can see the cut is done. It is a bit wobbly. I get a bit wobbly, shake around a bit, so that's why I'm going to use the flat lap now and finish that edge, and then I'll use a diamond pad and put a little bevel on that edge as well. One little thing I noticed, where is it? Down here. Ooh, didn't leave much white there, did I? Did you notice that? Tell me in the comments actually who noticed that when I was marking it up. I probably should have twisted it a little bit more that way to bring it away from that white, but I think I've got enough there to finish it and still leave some white there. Got a couple of holes from the sandblasting, by the way, and I did sandblast the whole thing, but I will still need to probably do a sandblast. I can see there's little patches that are not quite right. So now it's over onto the flat lap and we'll clean up that edge. Before we do that, one of the most important things I forgot to talk about is our mark. Did it survive? And yes, it did survive. You can see there where it's a bit broken edge there. We don't have a nice clean edge, is where either I cut too close or the glass has chipped a little bit there and taken away the paint with it. But it does prove that if you can rough up that surface before you apply your mark, it will hold a lot better. Now I've got to go over onto the flat lap. There's not so much water involved there, so it's not going to really have a big effect on it, I don't think. So it does prove the point. Worth a try. Give it a test yourself, and let me know how you go. And another thing, if you don't have a sandblaster, what can you do? I actually tested this with acid etch. I couldn't get a really good etch, so it sort of held a bit, but then it went away. So acid etch didn't seem to work well for me. You could use a diamond pad, and if you wanted to, you could get a bit of grit and just work that into the surface to rough the surface up. I think as long as you've got a reasonably rough surface, taking away the shine, that gives it a better chance of surviving. I think that's everything now. Now, while I've been working on this, it has been a number of hours. It may seem like it all goes quick, but it doesn't. The ring saw isn't really fast, so you've got to take your time with that. You don't want to push it too hard. You'll damage the blade and possibly damage your piece. So you've got to take it easy, let the blade do the work. So that in itself takes quite a while, especially to cut right around here. Excuse me. Then when it comes to the cold working the edges, that itself also takes time because, again, it is just a slow process of grinding away the edges, get it all nice and clean and uniform and a good shape. And then, of course, the diamond pad work also takes time. So please don't think this all goes very quickly, because I do speed parts of video up. Now, in this process, I did have another problem, and that was getting that mark off. I couldn't believe how hard it was to actually get it off. It really was stuck, whether that's because it was the paint or whether it was, I don't know, just the fact that it was on a rough surface. Don't know, we'll find out in the future. So it may be easier just with a normal felt marker, but that paint certainly didn't want to come off. I tried a couple of things like mineral terps and what do you call it? White spirit, I think is what you call it in America. Over here we just call it methylated spirits, but none of that worked. Didn't even make a dent on it. In the end, because I had to take this back in the sandblaster, I just sandblasted it off, which was real easy. But I do understand that not everybody has a sandblaster. So that's all ready to go now. I'm going to put it in the kiln and we're going to do a fire polish on it. There we are. It's all polished. Pretty much ready for going in the mould now. We've retained our square edge. That's worked out all right. We've got a reasonably good polish on it. It's not perfect, but I'm happy with that. So we'll just put it on the mould now and hopefully we'll end up with a nice finished piece. So, what's the answer to the question? Well, from my point of view, it's turned out well. But that's subjective. What is it from your point of view? Tell me what you think. Did I have many problems? There were a few little hiccups along the way. The one that I really worried about was that border. I got very close to the edge with the transparent, didn't leave much white there. So that border could have been a little wider so that I had a bit more of a boundary. Other than that, I think it has turned out really well. Now, that important announcement. Sadly, and because of other priorities, we have decided to close down our business called Rocket Rose Art. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to stop making videos. I am still going to be making videos. But the business side of it and the name Rocket Rose Art is going to go away. So you'll find, or probably already, you will see that the channel is just branded under my name. This is going to be more of a hobby now. After all, I am retired. So it's going to be more of a hobby. I'm going to do what I like to do rather than what I have to do. Now, the website where you contacted me through will still remain for the time being. I'm not too sure how long, so you can still contact me through the website. Now, my preferred way for you to ask questions about things is in the comments section. So if you're watching a video and you've got some questions about it, please put them in the comments section and I will reply to them. If you really need to contact me, you will find my email address on the About page. So if you have any comments, answers to any of those questions I ask, put them in the comments section. And if you've got any questions, put them in there and I'll try and answer them for you. So that's the end of this adventure, but there is a new one coming up. Don't forget, Up here, if you're interested in membership, you can see some examples of member-only videos as well as a button to get more information. Down here, there's a video suggestion just for you and a button to subscribe. That's it. We're done. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.